Food handler's final quiz. Question 1. If a food handler has been vomiting or has diarrhea, they should call in sick and don't return until the symptoms have been gone for at least 24 hours. Wear single-use gloves. Wash hands twice before working. Wait 48 hours. Question 2. After washing, rising and drying hands, it's recommended that a food handler leave the faucet running. Turn off the faucet with a paper towel. Turn off the faucet with bare hands. Turn off the faucet with an apron. Question 3. Which is not a physical hazard? Mold on cheddar cheese, a bandage, metal shavings, glass shards. Question 4. What is the proper holding temperature of hot foods? 165 or above, 145 or above, 135 or above, 155 or above. Question 5. Why are elderly people at a higher risk for foodborne illness? They have weakened immune systems. They eat out more often. They do not cook food properly. They eat more raw foods. Question 6. How often should your bimetallic thermometer be calibrated? Once a week, once a month, every 4 hours, once a day or at the beginning of any shift or if dropped. Question 7. Wheezing and hives are symptoms of food poisoning, food allergies, hepatitis A, norovirus. Question 8. Which of the following must be cleaned, rinsed, and sanitized? Trash cans, walls, cutting boards, floors. Question 9. Food handlers must wash their hands before sweeping the floor, serving food, handling money, taking out the trash. Question 10. A food handler sees rodent droppings in the storage area. When should he tell the manager? Immediately, bruh, that's nasty. The next day, never, at the end of the shift. Question 11. When washing hands, how long should food handlers scrub their hands and arms? 20 to 25 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds, 1 minute, 5 to 9 seconds. Question 12. How should the temp of a tri-tip steak be taken when cooked? Put thermometer in the thinnest part. Put thermometer on the surface. Put thermometer in the thickest part. Put thermometer near the bone. Question 13. What is used to test the concentration of sanitizing solution? Test kit, smelling it, thermometer, visual inspection. Question 14. Which piece of jewelry is a food handler allowed to wear? Plain metal band, diamond ring, medical bracelet, watch. Question 15. Hepatitis A is a contagious parasite, fungi, bacteria, virus. Question 16. Where is the correct place to keep a towel used for cleaning spills when not in use? On the counter, in the container of sanitizing solution, in the food handler's apron, in the sink. Question 17. A food handler notices the cooler temperature is at 48 degrees. They should wait an hour and check again. Tell manager immediately. Move the food to the freezer. Turn down the cooler. Question 18. What is the minimum internal cooking temperature of seafood? 145 degrees or higher, 165 degrees or higher, 155 degrees or higher, 135 degrees or higher. Question 19. A food handler who spends an entire shift making turkey sandwiches should change gloves every hour, at the end of the shift, every 4 hours, every 2 hours. Question 20. A food handler must inform their manager if they have which of the following: a paper cut, fatigue, a headache, sore throat and fever. Question 21. Cold TCS foods should be stored at what internal temperature? 32 degrees or lower, 50 degrees or lower, 45 degrees or lower, 41 degrees or lower. Question 22. To properly cool a pot of chili, a food handler must leave the pot on the counter, put the pot in the cooler, put the pot in an ice water bath, put the pot in the freezer. Question 23. Which item is stored correctly in the cooler? Raw chicken stored above beef, raw pork stored above salad, sliced pineapple stored above raw steaks, raw fish stored above ready-to-eat food. Question 24. Which is the definition of sanitizing? Cleaning with soap and water, reducing pathogens on a surface to a safe level, removing visible dirt from a surface, killing all bacteria on a surface. Question 25. Leftover tortilla chicken soup to be put in hot holding must be reheated to 135 for 15 seconds, 165 for 15 seconds, 145 for 15 seconds, 155 for 15 seconds. Question 26. What is the second step in cleaning and sanitizing stationary equipment? Rinsing, sanitizing, washing, unplugging the equipment. Question 27. Which one of the following should be reported to your manager? The trash is full, sanitizer concentration is too strong, the floor is wet, we are out of paper towels. Question 28. To properly thaw food, a food handler must place food on the counter, place food in a cooler, place food outside, place food in hot water. Question 29. The third sink in a 3-compartment sink is for washing, sanitizing, rinsing, scraping. Question 30. When do you need to clean and sanitize your workspace? After forming hamburgers and before slicing tomatoes. Once a day, every 8 hours, at the end of the shift. Question 31. What is the proper cooking temperatures for hamburger patties? 145 for 15 seconds, 135 for 15 seconds, 165 for 15 seconds, 155 for 15 seconds. Question 32. When should thermometers be sanitized? Before the shift starts, after measuring the temperatures of roast beef, once a day, when they look dirty. Question 33. When a food handler stays home when they are sick, they are practicing poor personal hygiene, cross-contamination, good food safety practices, time temperature abuse. Question 34. If a food contact surface is in constant use, it should be cleaned and sanitized at least every 4 hours, 2 hours, 8 hours, 6 hours. Question 35. What is cross-contamination? Cooking food below required temperatures, the transfer of pathogens from one surface or food to another, storing food at incorrect temperatures, poor personal hygiene. Question 36. When should a food handler wash their hands? Before taking out the trash, after putting on single-use gloves, before putting on single-use gloves, after handling clean dishes. Question 37. Which pathogen is not one of the big six? Salmonella, Listeria, Norovirus, E. coli. Question 38. Which of the following is not a pathogen? Virus, fungi, bacteria, pesticides. Question 39. When tasting food that is to be sold or served, a food handler may not use a utensil more than once. Use a plastic fork multiple times. Use the stirring spoon. Use a clean finger. Question 40. Which of the following is a common allergen? Rice, apples, chicken, peanuts,